Hello, my name is John Powers. I'm a sculptor, and this is my artist commentary for Star Wars: A New Hope. What follows is an audio track that I've recorded as an alternative soundtrack to be listened to while watching the film, like you might listen to a director's commentary. But very much unlike a director's commentary, I'll discuss a lot of things that are not in the film. So I've included a slideshow of art, architecture, film stills, and other imagery of things, people, and events that I mention or allude to. But all the same, this commentary takes its structure from the film. It's divided into 12 episodes, each dealing with a discrete subject that coincides with the subject matter of that section of film. For instance, the first episode deals with the film's relationship to Stanley Kubrick's film 2001: A Space Odyssey. It begins exactly where Star Wars begins, with a discussion of the first ship in space, and ends with a consideration of Darth Vader as he bullies Princess Leia. Subsequent episodes shadow the film in a similar fashion. In episode 2, I'll discuss robots while the droids are lost in the desert, but I'll discuss them in terms of peasant imagery and avant-garde art. So to be clear, this is a guerrilla effort. Fan nonfiction, if you will. I was just 6 years old the spring Star Wars premiered. So while I know I saw the film that first summer, I don't remember the event. It's just always been in the background of my world. And it was only much later, as an adult, that I discovered minimalism and made the connection between the abstract art and the science fiction film. And it's that connection I'll focus on in this commentary. Because looking at the film as a real thing not only reveals Star Wars to be far more interesting than when it's discussed as mythic literature, but it also highlights a fantastic aspect of minimalist art that's otherwise obscured, if not completely invisible. So I'll ignore the pretense that this is a long time ago in a galaxy far away, and instead, I'll discuss the film as an object made by a particular group of people at a particular time and place, as a vision of the future as it could be seen from America in the 1970s. And while I will trace how a sketch made by George Lucas was turned into the final version of the Death Star, this is not a making-of commentary either. I'll concentrate on the film's visual program in the context of the architecture and art of post-war America, the modern and modernist world that Lucas cast as a planet-destroying evil. I think that's something that most people aren't aware of, that it was specifically America that Lucas had in mind when he imagined the Empire, that the war in the film's title was the Vietnam War, and the corrupt emperor lurking off screen was, in Lucas's words, a Nixonian gangster. But Lucas didn't conceal these connections while he was making the film. So it was something that almost everyone who worked on Star Wars would have known. And it's information that not only adds weight to the visuals of Star Wars, without it, the visual program isn't fully legible. Armed with that knowledge, the resemblances to minimalist art and the international-style architecture of the 1960s and 70s becomes pointed. And these weren't just passing resemblances either. The critic Clement Greenberg could have been describing the spaceships in Star Wars when he complained that in minimalist art, development within a given piece is usually repetition of the same modular shape, which may or may not be varied in size. Everything is rigorously rectilinear or spherical. Greenberg and other critics rejected minimalism as pedestrian, and almost all of its supporters have celebrated the art in terms of its engagement with the real. Real shapes viewed in real time. Real materials grounded in real spaces. All illusion and association was disavowed. Because of its fantastic nature then, It's not surprising that the Death Star has never been recognized as an example of minimal art, but it's an excellent one. And its resemblance to the art and architecture exported by Americans during the Cold War wasn't a coincidence or thoughtless. Lucas associated modernist aesthetics with the most negative aspects of American superpower, and he was in no way unique. It was an association he shared not just with a growing number of Americans, but also with millions of people around the world, all of whom had been primed for years to cheer for the destruction of American superpower. So while the Death Star's destruction has never been acknowledged as a turning point for modernism, it was.